Hello, all channel members. I hope you guys are having a fantastic afternoon. Today we had the FOMC meeting. The Federal Reserve came out, Jerome Powell came out, and he said nothing new. We knew that they weren't going to raise rates. However, he did mention that they're probably going to raise rates one more time in the next two meetings. Look, at the end of the day, you could believe him, you could not believe him, but one thing is almost for certain, barring any crazy news that's going to come, the Federal Reserve rate hikes are coming to an end, which means we now need to try to predict how long they're going to stay at that rate, which would be 5.25 to 5.5, or maybe 5.5 to 5.75%. And when will they start lowering rates? I'm not going to give you like the answer of what I think it's going to be like. This is it. I'll give you some thoughts. But the point of this is, you as an investor, especially my channel members, this video is for you guys. You need to predict and preemptively prepare for events. Whether that event is COVID, trying to think, well, what can happen after COVID? Or the money printer, what can happen when we're, giving out all of this free money? And things like that. Well, we know right now that Federal Reserve is going to stop raising interest rates. We know that, right? Might be a little sooner or a little later, but we know that's going to happen. We also know that there's going to be a new election next year. Towards the end of the year, I believe it's in November, we're going to know that there's going to be a new president. I believe firmly that Trump is going to be the next president. I could be wrong, but start thinking. And if he is the president, he's going to pressure Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. Now, I don't know if they're going to lower interest rates before he becomes president. I just know that after he becomes president, if he becomes president, one of his mandates is going to be lowering interest rates and ramping up the economy. I'm just predicting what the man is going to try to do because he loves the stock market. So we know that the Federal Reserve is going to stop raising interest rates right now. There's going to be a huge pause for the interest rates. And then eventually, the second half of 2024, whether that's in the beginning or the end of the second half, the Federal Reserve is probably going to lower interest rates. This is going to cause an effect for the stock market to rally. Your job as an investor, try to predict this. So what do you want to do? You can dip your toes in. You could buy steady. You could DCA down, DCA up. You can buy leaps. Whatever you want to do is you. But I want to just say one thing. Prepare for these events. Make sure you have a 3 to 6 months reserve. That means that whatever happens, all your bills are going to be covered for 3 to 6 months. I prefer at least 6 months. I actually do much longer than that, and it served me really, really well. But at least 6 months. Other than that, you should be investing your money. Now, I'm not telling you to invest, so don't blame me if anything. This is not financial advice. I'm just saying in general, wealth is built by taking risks. If you don't invest, you won't build. Now you need to maximize your investments when the time is right. If we had a bear market for the last 15, 16 months, we're about to get a bull market. Now a bull market doubles a bear market on average. It's even more, but approximately. So you figure that towards the end of 24, second half of 24, all the way into 25 and 26, we should have a bullish market in the stock market. Now that bullish market might not be what you expect, especially if you're a new investor like what happened in COVID. However, things are going to look up. All I'm saying is, as an investor, try to predict trends, try to predict outcomes based not on what's happening tomorrow, but based what's going to happen in the next 6 months or 3 months or 12 months. You don't always get it right, but practice and make your mind work to predict. If you're sitting doing nothing, you're never going to get it right. Try to make predictions. Now, your predictions just got to be right 51% of the time. You don't have to get them all right. If you get 4 wrong and 6 right, you're still up. You're still going to be good. And 2, you need to be put in a really good position where you can capitalize on certain trends and events. So I want you guys to sit and actually think what can happen, what's the outcome next year after this year with what's going to happen with the Federal Reserve. and what's going to happen if they pause rates, and then what's going to happen if they lower rates, and then what's going to happen in the presidential election, whether it's Trump or not, whether you're Republican or Democrat. I'm talking about completely monetary. You guys know my stance, but completely monetary. What do you think can happen? The reason I'm making this video is to train you and to challenge you to think. You see, a lot of people ask me, Adam, how did you learn options? How do you have, $500,000 in your stock account for the public account? That's my smaller account. How do you this? How do you that? How did you buy real estate? And this is not to brag or to boast. I grew up so poor. I didn't want to be poor anymore. So I started trying things. And through trial and errors, I was right 51% of the time. And I started becoming right more than I was wrong. But if I didn't try and I didn't risk and I didn't train myself to think, I would never have been able to be successful 6 out of 10 times. You're always going to be wrong a couple of times, and that's okay, as long as more so you're right than wrong. So please prepare yourself for what's going to happen in 2024 with interest rates and the presidential election. Those are two really, really big things that are happening. And try to predict the outcome and make sure you're in the right position to capitalize. Try not to have debt, pay off your debt, have good debt, that's cool, and make sure you have a 6 months reserve. Now, I understand everything I'm saying is easier said than done. Stop spending money on stupid shit, especially if you don't have a family. If you're single and you're spending money on stupid shit, you're a dumbass. If you have a family, it's harder because you have to support your family, the wifey, the kids. It's harder to say no. But if you're single, you have no ties, and nothing ties you to dumbass decisions. Thank you very much. I hope you guys appreciate these type of videos. I know it might sound like I'm just being as forthright as possible and as honest and transparent as possible. These are things that serve me really, really well throughout my life. And I promise you, I grew up poor. We were broke. Not to the point where we didn't have food, but we didn't really have any extras in life. Single mom taking care of 2 kids, doesn't know the language, immigrant, so on and so forth, yada, yada, so on and so forth. Guys, thank you so much. Happy trading. I hope you guys are making money. And let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to happen in 2024. Cheers.